Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is I Love You Say It Back. It's the podcast. It's the first episode of the year. I'm doing it alone, so please forgive me. Yeah. Jump on it. There we go. That's much better. How you doing? Oh, a little bit of a throwback show. It's just you and me, a little bit of an old school, and it feels good. I don't have the pre talking about, top 10 and John talking about the damn Cowboys. Oh, man, give me a break, John. Come on. Cowboys ain't seen the playoff. I don't know how many years. I'm kidding. I love those boys. Can't wait. I was going to try to have them on today, but we are going to be doing a podcast, a little bit of a football playoff podcast coming up tomorrow. So a lot of podcasts, 3 podcasts in, let's see, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 podcasts in 5 days. Yeah, that might be the death of me. Ladies and gentlemen, happy 2026. I do have a new energy. I do feel like I have a new vibe. I do feel like I have a new sense of, damn, it feels good to be back. And a lot of it was because I took my first break from this in almost 2 years or so, like intentional vacation. I'm checking out, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I'm gonna do it a little bit more often. I think I was burning myself out, and I thought I needed to keep proving myself. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I think the podcast is at a place now. I think we're okay. I don't think people think we're going anywhere or anything like that. I think we're okay, but 2+ years, no breaks. If you guys remember, I used to go on vacation all the time, where I used to go to the mountains, or I'd go to Montana, or I'd go to Colorado, or I'd just travel somewhere Oregon, Seattle, wherever, anywhere that had mountains. And that was my escape. That was my balance. Well, 2.5 years, I haven't done any of that. I've been on this, and I'm happy to do it. But I think no matter how much you love what you do or you enjoy what you do, at the end of the day, work is work. You know what I'm saying? Like you could love an athlete. Like you could tell me like, oh, I love playing turkey bowls and I love playing football. But once you get paid like these football players, it comes with expectations and pressures. So you can love what you do, and that's the cheat code and hack to life. But that doesn't mean that you don't need a break occasionally. And I think I got that, and it was like, yo, that was a taste of something crazy, and I loved it, and it felt good to come back. We did a little bit of a podcast. We did a football podcast on Sunday, got back in the groove, but this is the baby right here. This is the one that really, this is our bread and butter. So I'm excited to get into it. Got so much to catch you up on. And because it is a solo show, I feel like it's just you and me. It feels good. And we can talk about certain things, and we are. Quickly want to remind you before we get into this whole damn thing, please jump over and subscribe if you're listening on Spotify or iHeart or wherever. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that follow. Follow us on socials at ILY Say It Back Pod. I'm at Vic D Radio. Follow the boys, follow C's, check us all out. Check us out on our YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, we've already thrown out some ideas and videos and just fun stuff to do that's exclusively going to be on YouTube. So definitely want to do more with YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, have some fun, going to goof off over there, and just provide more content. Happy 2026, y'all. What an absolute roller coaster. I think 2025, I just want to reflect on it a little bit. 2025 was the biggest year of my career post radio. Everything that I've done, when you leave a job in an established position or whatever it is, no matter what you do when you're going to branch out, unless you're leaving to go to syndicated radio or some massive radio station, and you start your own thing, you're taking steps back. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're not going to go from an established, 50, 60 year radio station or whatever it is that you were doing to starting your own thing. And but now I had like an hour-long conversation with one of my friends earlier today. And we were talking about how, when you put so much into something and you get so little return in the beginning, ask anyone who has a business, you put in hours and sleep and sacrifice blank, blank, and blank to get very little return in the beginning, very little. And it makes you feel stupid. It makes you question everything. It makes you wonder if you're doing the right thing. And that's where people quit. I'm putting in way too much work and I'm not seeing enough return. That's where people quit. The difference is the people who decide to stick with it. And first of all, I don't think everybody should stick with everything. I think you should be flexible when you see something that's not working. But I think if you're good at something, I think if you're good to great at something, you believe it, you have a vision, stick with it, man. That's where sometimes just sticking, you're the only person who's finishing the race. People start the race, they have a great, this is too hard, this is too long, this is blah, blah, blah. People drop out of the race. One person makes it to the finish line, and we are nowhere near the finish line. But I will say, I think in Bakersfield, at least in this Kern County, we're one of the only, or if not the only, podcast who puts out a consistent weekly episode. There's lots of podcasts. I know there's lots of great podcasts too, but they'll put out an episode maybe once a week, once a month, whenever they feel like it. We put out one of my first things when we first started this whole thing, and I've told this story before. I told Eric, producer Eric, I was like, bro, my number one thing is I want people on Thursday to not even question if it's out there. If I don't post it on my IG or promote it or whatever, people are still going to know, oh yeah, I know it's Thursday. No. And I've gotten to that point, and that's one of the things I'm most proud of. So thank you for continuing to listen and expect it. But 2026 has, 7 days? Today's now the 8th. And I'll tell you what, I've been a little bit off of social media, and it's been nothing but a good thing. It's been working out deals. It's been working out contracts. It's been working out organizing dates and things like that. And we just had one of our biggest kind of just locked in one of the biggest deals, and I'm excited to announce that I've been wanting to share this. I've known about this kind of for a week, and if you follow along on our socials, you may have seen we were out at the Hard Rock Casino on Monday. My bad. No one knows what day of the week it is anymore, by the way. The days now, this week maybe now a little bit, but last week, it was a Friday, it was a Tuesday, it's Saturday, Sunday. I don't know. When is football played? That's how we were able to get. Is it Sunday? Is there games on today? But anyways, I was out there Monday. We were doing a little bit of a, just thing. And long story short, I'm excited to announce that I'm going to be out at the Hard Rock Casino every Thursday. I'm going to be emceeing their Corvette giveaway. So they're doing these massive prizes. They're giving away a Corvette every single week in the month of January. And when they called me about this, they said, hey, we're looking to do blank, blank, and blank. Would you be interested? I said, yeah, let's have a conversation. We had a conversation, and they explained how, because it's, they're just getting started. They're only a couple months into this thing. They wanted to do this giveaway big. And they said, well, we want to come do the biggest podcast and the biggest MC in the town. And I said, you came to the right place, boo. I've been emceeing these weddings, and I MC the bridal shows, and I MC the fight nights, and, this is what I do. This is just what I do. You are sitting in an office, or you're sitting at your job, whatever it is that you do. And I could tell you right now, I'm like, hey, are you good at what you like? This is what I do. You bake cakes. You're the best cake baker. You do sales. I bet you think you're the best in the sales. And you know what? I'm nobody to tell you different. This is what I do, baby. So long story short, we worked out a deal, and they said, all right, we're going to have you come out here, and officially going to be out there every Thursday. And I'm going to keep it brief with this because there's details that I'm not entirely sure about. But here's what I know. Every Thursday from 5, so tomorrow I'm going to be out there from 5 to 9. In fact, every Thursday going to be out there from 5 to 9:30. And they're going to be giving away a 2026 Corvette. Or you could take the cash prize, but the Corvette is the big deal. But they're also giving away like $10,000, and so there's going to be 6 winners every Thursday, and you're going to open up a briefcase, kind of like Deal or No Deal style, and it's going to have a big prize in it. Whether it's free play, whether it's whatever the other prizes are in there, the Corvette obviously is going to be the big one. But you must be present to win, so you got to get out there. I hope to see you all out there every Thursday starting, today, since you're listening to this today. But I'm so excited. The opportunities that have come from doing this, being consistent with this, just so exciting. And also wanted to announce that the bridal show, I'm telling you, this year could not have started more busy, more good. And I don't even more good is proper in that city, but I don't give a damn. I'm in here by myself. There's no rules, no parents, no rules. If you are looking to get married, if you just recently got engaged, shout out my buddy Tay and Dylan. They just got engaged, and the wedding expo is going to be happening February 1st at the Convention Center Marriott, at the Convention Center. So going to be out there right next to the Dignity Health Arena. Going to be emceeing that as well. Also still working on the dates for this, but the next fight night is also going to be coming up, going to be announced soon. So an incredibly busy beginning of the years, but obviously just the collaboration with the Hard Rock is huge. So super excited, and we're also working on some other things with social content and things like that. So lots of fun stuff. Support me, support the podcast by coming out and supporting us, and let's have some fun. I love the vibes at the Hard Rock anyways. Like, I went out there the first night. I don't do slots. I was talking to my buddy the first night we went. I don't do slots. I'm like, John, I don't do slots. And he's like, bro, slots are where it's at. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I put in, because they give you like some free play when you open up your player's card. And I was like $25. Threw it in, and then I just pressed the button. Because that's all that slots are, right? It's just kind of like, just, there's no excitement. There's no stay, hold, nothing. I like card games. I like table games. So I go, and I think I won like $350 the first night. And I was like, you know what, John, slots are where it's at, brother. You know, you were absolutely right. So it was a great first night. Went, grabbed a beer, got a drink, and I'm assuming that a lot of these fun events, and there's going to be a great football game tomorrow. Ole Miss and Miami to go to the finals. Going to be huge. So super excited. I hope to see you all out there. And yeah, let's have some fun. Top of the year. That was the big news. Been working on it for a couple weeks, and I am so excited and proud to be doing these things. And I'm parlaying this into more opportunities and bigger opportunities. And this one was huge, and I'm excited to see where else this goes. And I want to thank you for listening, supporting, sharing, and doing all that stuff. Because without that support, you know, none of this really even takes off the ground. So I love you. Say it back. Okay, another personal thing that I wanted to share. This is going to be what this episode is kind of about. So to me, this is a big deal, because I don't know how many people are going to be able to say this moving forward, right? They don't make cars like they used to. They don't make trucks. They don't make them like they used to. And I'm going to sound like an old head, but this is absolutely true. And this is, you could look it up. You could YouTube it. After a certain year, I forgot, I don't even know if it was like 2014, 2013, something like that. The brand of, so I have a 2009 GMC Sierra. I love my truck. I've had it paid off, and I love, like I've been on so many adventures with this thing. We've gone to the mountains. We've gone, I've driven it everywhere. Like, so many hikes, and I love having a truck, so many snowboarding trips, so many memories inside that little baby. But anyways, the point that I'm getting at, folks, this week, next time we talk, I'm going to hit 200,000 miles on that truck. Let's hear it for my GMC. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, I'm going to be happy. I'm probably going to shed a little tear. I'm just so happy, and I'm so proud. One, you got to be lucky with it, right? Your car, you could do all the things and all that. Like, you got to be, there's a little bit of luck. I'd say there's maybe 25 to 30% luck. I take care of it as best as I can. I've always done my own oil changes. I don't trust taking it to fucking Jiffy Lube, and unless you want to come on and sponsor Jiffy Lube, then you're totally trustworthy. But I don't trust taking it somewhere where they're like, yeah, because I only use the new oil. There's a name, I'm blanking out on it. Damn it, now it's gonna bug me. They're gonna be like, bullshit. bullshit. He doesn't even know. The clean oil. But anyways, so I do it myself because, you can go and tell them like, hey, I want this oil. And they're going to be like, sure. And they'll charge you for it. And they're just going to give you some like, it's called synthetic. Synthetic. That's what it is. The mobile one, new filter, new oil, new cabin air filter, like before their due dates and all that. This stuff is cheap. So I'd rather just replace it. And I'm like, yeah. And all that stuff, I feel like it's paid dividends, and I'm really excited to announce at 200,000. I have a little mileage countdown on my truck, and I'm nervous about this. I'm hoping that I could see it when it hits 200,000 on the speedometer. I want to speedometer, whatever the thing that calls that records it. But I want to take a picture of it. I'm gonna stop wherever the hell I am. I'm gonna have my tripod all week. And I'm taking so many pictures with it. $200,000, 200,000 miles, and we're celebrating. 2009. And so the reason that I say that I'm proud of it and I don't know how many more are going to be doing it moving forward is simply because I have buddies who got the new trucks. They got the new 2015, 2016, the year. They got it. They went to the dealership, bought a brand new 0 miles on it, and they're already having massive issues with it where they're already looking to replace it, and they haven't even finished paying that off. So we looked into it and they're like, yeah, after a certain year, they started making them cheaper, using cheaper parts or pieces. I know nothing about this. So don't be like, Vic, actually, it's because shut the fuck up. I don't know I'm not claiming to know about it. I just know that there is like research that shows that after a certain year, they stopped making them to where they lasted a while. And I know 2009 was one of the years that I think it was like 2011, 2012 maybe. And then they changed it to different pieces, different parts, and they weren't as good, right? Companies are always looking to get cheaper, so you sacrifice a little bit, and that's one of the things to sacrifice. So I'm very proud of that. Really excited about it. 200,000 miles. I want to go back to real quick so a little bit of the break that happened. So I was talking about how I used to take these breaks and go, on hikes or travel to go see these. All my vacations were based around like I would just be like, what's the sickest hike in America, or what's the sickest hike in Colorado? What's the sickest hike? That's the extent of my vacation planning, if you want to call it that. I just look up the sickest ones, and that's how I ended up in Montana, in northern Montana at Glacier National Park, or that's how I ended up obviously like in Yellowstone and these places that you want to see anyways. But I like getting out of town for New Year's and just starting like feeling fresh. This year got a cabin up in Yosemite, and I'll tell you something. We're going to talk about New Year's resolutions in a second, but folks, let me just say the amount of sleep, the amount of sleep that I got. I always wondered, I'm like, am I like kind of fucked up in the head? Am I like messed up where it's like my clock is just wired different? And I'm just like, no. I knew what it is. I get tired. I get sleepy. But you know what? It's the podcast that takes up all night. It's that will throw off the sleep schedule, because when I made the conscious decision, folks, to leave the podcast alone for the new year, to leave it alone, I said, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to do content. I need a break. I'm burnt out. Especially because we added the second podcast. We added the football podcast, and I love it. I have fun, and I love my boys, but it's like you adding a second job. No matter how much you enjoy it, you're going to need a break. And that's what I felt like I needed. We've been going hard all football season, and definitely I felt it. And I was just like, you know what, folks, when I tell you, I was out there, I was in touch with like my primal side. I was out there chopping wood. The fireplace was a little bit smaller, so you had to chop the pieces a little bit. So I was out there chopping wood, grilling tri-tip, eating baked potato, hiking mountains in my boots, in the rain, chopping wood in the rain, starting fires. Every single night there was a fire. Making s'mores. Is that girly? I don't know. I don't care. I was so in touch with my primal side. It was beautiful. And I was sleeping by like 8:30, 9. Folks, Daddy was sleeping, Dad. Daddy was in bed. Daddy was, oh my goodness. So I know that things are right. And I know that the cause of my sleep issues stem from this. And I'm okay with it. You know, I signed up for this. I know I'm good with it. But I will say, like, it made me, so it was part of the reason why I talked about, you know, my New Year's resolutions. So I want to hit on that. I do have a couple of New Year's resolutions. I encourage people to do their, you know, we talked about it a little bit on the Sunday podcast about New Year's resolutions and blah, blah, blah. January is the most common month to start the gym. Then February, people leave. We'll get into that later with, in case you didn't know. But whatever it is, give it a shot. Here are my New Year's resolutions for 2026, and I wrote them down. I want to sleep more. And I'm not sure if I even care when I sleep. If it's 1 a.m. to 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., doesn't matter. If it's 1 p.m. to 10, it doesn't matter. Like, I just want more sleep. So I'm going to work on that. And I know that I'm capable of it because this weekend proved to me that I am capable of being on a regular sleep schedule where it was like, bro, it was like 9:30 and I'm waking up at like 7. And then I was like, you know what? I don't have anything to do. Waking up to rain. It was beautiful. Waking up, going to sleep to frogs. So anyways, sleep, working on sleep in some way, shape, or form. I love my naps. I'm gonna keep my naps, but I need to get more of the overnight sleep. So sleep, number 1. Why does this says something that doesn't even make hard with podcast? What the hell does what does that even mean? I show prep this like maybe an hour ago. Hard with podcasts. We'll come back to that one. I want to continue doing more gigs, more bigger gigs, more gigs with like, and then the Hard Rock Casino thing just opened up beautifully. And like I said, I want to parlay that into more opportunities. We have a little bit of a business plan going on right now with wedding gigs and things like that. So there's 2 businesses that I have my eye on, and look at me talking about business. Like I have any business talking about business. I've never considered myself an entrepreneur. I've never been an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are a different breed, but doing this podcast and kind of seeing this as my own little small business has definitely changed the way I look at the world. And I went to the mountains and I came back and I stopped at this spot and I got the inspiration for a smaller business idea, and it has to do with food. And I don't know if that's this year or I don't know if that's next year or I don't know, but it is something that I would like latched onto, and I was like, you know what? That's something that I could, and I'll give you more details on that later, but this is just so new that I'm just like, if I still care about this in 3 months, this is something I gotta go through. So growth, and I want to implement new strategies with the podcast. What does that mean? The podcast that you're listening to, the podcast that you're watching on YouTube is one thing. It's what we've been doing. It's been great. And it's been gotten us to this point. Fantastic. Thank you. But with growth, there has to come adaptation. And I want to do more things, a different type of content. Not necessarily new to our new audience, but just as ways that we do it. I want to do more stuff outside of the studio. I want to focus on our YouTube a little bit more. Maybe I hire someone to handle YouTube, and I've been talking about it for years, but wasn't in the budget. And maybe now this year, it's like things are really looking good to where maybe potentially we can do something like that. So I want to adapt what we do, our content, our social content. I'll have you know, and part of me is proud of this. Part of me is like, you're an idiot. But we haven't spent one single dollar, not a penny, on any kind of like sponsored, like pushed it out to anybody, which part of me is proud of it because it's gotten us that far without it. But now it's like, hey, we have to grow. It's like any business, you're not going to be like, oh, well, we're not going to market. You have to spend money on marketing. That's exactly what that is. So if you have a business, you want to market on here, hey, let's talk business. But that, I'm on the same boat. I want to get my podcast out there. Boom, let's get it out there. Some more marketing strategies, more content strategies, more skits. I have so many ideas and I have so many things that I need to kind of get from out of my head into paper, into video, into your eyes. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Collaborations. You'll see some of the things that we got were in the works already. I had a long conversation with someone earlier today. They're going to be coming on the podcast pretty soon. I would say next week or the week after. Big events, doing big events, collaborating with big events that are coming to town to do either a podcast or do something with them. So New Year's resolution is growth, sleep, implementing new strategies, doing more hosting gigs, and planting these seeds with these new business ideas that I have. And I just have so much confidence in, it's funny, like the way that I am now versus the way when I I know nothing about business. I know I don't pretend to, but I think relationships will get you into a lot of, rooms and doors, and just having the confidence to just go through with it, see it, try it. Okay, so that's kind of just me getting you caught up on what's going on lately. And I hope that somewhere in there you find a little piece of you that you can relate to. Maybe you've had that business idea. Maybe keep in mind, folks, how I started this whole thing. Maybe you're new here. Maybe you haven't heard the story. I had a great job. I had a great position. I was in a great situation, and I quit out of nowhere. Quit. Still haven't been open about every reason. I figured it would do more harm than good at a certain point. And but someday we'll get into those details, because motherfuckers can't keep getting away with shit like this. But anyways, I just quit my job. And if you're in a position where you feel like there's more for you to do, I'm not saying be as reckless as maybe don't do it the same way that I did. I wouldn't encourage you, because there's been some struggles. Don't get me wrong. But if you believe in yourself, and you believe you're good at something, and you are good at something, and you have a vision for it, and you have a plan for it, fucking do it. Because you know what's worse than being at that desk job or failing at whatever you're doing is living with a what if. And I will say that it's hard. It's really hard on so many levels. One, financially, you're going to take a hit. Again, people think I got fired. I didn't. If I would have got fired, I would have got unemployment. That would have definitely eased the pain, eased the transition. I was out there doing home remodels. I was doing what I had to do. But going back to it, it's hard. And I will say this, one thing that 2025 has taught me, one of the biggest lessons, and folks, is that it's okay to outgrow people. And that's hard for me to do. One thing that I've talked about when I was on the radio station, when I started this, I thought people people that were in my corner, I had been friends with, who I had been close with for so many years, who I came on here and I spoke, I was like, I'm nothing without my friends and this and that. Those people are not always on your side. They're not going to support you. They're not going to, if you're selling a product, they're not always going to buy your product, consume your product, watch your product, post about your product. And it's a hard thing to accept. But I'll tell you what, I've removed myself from those situations, those friendships. I removed those people. I you get to a place where you're comfortable. You're like, you know what? It's okay. This is part of the process. This is part of the whole thing. It's okay to outgrow rooms. It's okay to meet people that have a similar vision. It's okay to meet people and it doesn't even have to be a hateful thing. It doesn't have to be like, oh, fuck you. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It's just like, hey, I no longer fit with you guys, and that's okay. You no longer fit with me. I no longer fit with you. Y'all don't need to say anything bad about me. I'm not going to say anything bad about you, but I just don't belong here anymore. And anybody who's going through this or struggle, come to me, DM me, write me. I want to talk about this stuff because to me, one of the hardest parts about starting my own anything has been having to let go of the people who I thought were going to be closest to me and supporting the most. There's an incident that happened. I was invited to do some things locally here and promote this event. I was invited to check out the event before the whole event even happened, blah blah blah. And there was like some close friends that attended that event, and they were like doing everything to avoid going through me. It's almost like, hey, this looks like a sick event and we want to go to it, but we don't want to go through you. And I'm like, damn, that was crazy, because I have these other people that I met recently in the last couple of years who have the same vision as you, you know? And instead of saying like, hey, why are you doing this? Or why are you pulling out your phone? Or why are you doing all this? And it's cringy and it's weird and it's awkward and it's always going to be cringe until it works. Take that leap of faith. If you believe in yourself, if you want to do content, if you want to do a podcast, if you want to do a YouTube channel, if you want to do funny videos, guess what? Your first video is not going to go viral. It's going to be cringe, but you know what? You're a legend in the making in a lot of cases. And watch them when they come back around, when you have success. I've already seen it. Cool things started to happen to me last year, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, what are we doing? And I was like, can I come? Like, shut the fuck up. It low-key pissed me off in that sense, but you got to also understand, like, it doesn't have to be a hateful thing. It just has to be a learning experience, and it's a hard thing because, you know, they talk about like losing a relationship, like going through a breakup. You didn't go through a breakup, it was hard, and you're like, try losing your best friend. That shit sucks. That shit is hard. But once you get comfortable, I promise you, I let go of that rope, and opportunities opened up like you couldn't believe. And I can go on and on. I might make a video on this particular topic itself on Instagram sooner than later. But yeah, so take the chance, because I know I'm not the only person who feels this way. Met some great connections, met some great people who have the same vision. It's fun to surround yourself with those people because they see the vision. They're like, oh, you know, you're dope at what you do. And the people that you came up with don't see you like that. You'll get so much more love and support from people who are kind of seeing your content or absorbing or your podcast or whatever. And it's just, it's okay. You're outgrowing it. It's good. Let's get into your fun facts here in case you didn't know. These are more of like top of the new year, top of January type of fun facts. So here we go. In case you didn't know, January is the most popular month for gym membership signups, and February is the most common month for people to quit. In case you didn't know, January is the most common month for divorces. In case you didn't know, I will say January is a rough month. It's a rough month because you're coming off the holidays, you're coming off expenses more than usual. The vacations and the days in between where you were randomly off, you're like, oh man, you start getting a taste of the sweet life. And then you come back to reality, you're like, well, my job sucks, my relationship sucks, my marriage sucks. I'm not happy where I am, and then people probably make that decision and be like, you know what? My world's clashing down. I need to make a change. So no surprise there. And then finally today, in case you didn't know, Blue Monday is the saddest day of the year, which usually is the third Monday of the month. So be looking out for that because it is coming up. We talk about it every single year, and we want to prioritize mental health, especially in the month of January. So be on the lookout. Blue Monday is on the way. Maybe just join us for some out at the Hard Rock Casino or something. I wanted to talk about this, folks, because I posted this on my Instagram earlier. And let me tell you, it's funny what people latch on to. Do audiobooks count as reading books? Let me ask you this again. Do audiobooks count as reading books? I put up a poll on my Instagram, and let me tell you what that shows. 32% of people said yes, while 68% of people said no. And it's funny. So I'm not a big reader. I don't pretend to be a big reader, but I will say this. I don't think it counts, brother. I don't think it counts, sister. I don't think it can. I don't think you can, because when you say, did you read a book? Well, audio, you can say, I listened to 18 books this year, but you didn't read. There's no reading involved. You can't say, I read a book. Part of me, if your New Year's resolution, I'll put it this way. If your New Year's resolution is to read 20 books, but you also will have a goal of reading or listening to another 20 books, then that's one thing. Separate those. But you can't listen to 50 books on audio and then say, read 50 books. No. That ain't going to happen. It's like me saying, I'm going to run a mile, and someone says, I'm going to drive a mile. Well, we both did a mile. We both did the same thing. You got there a lot faster than I did. My work was a lot harder. It took me longer. With audio, you could listen while you're at the gym. You could listen while you're at work, while you're, when you sit down and have to read a book, you basically have to sit there and focus. You can listen to an audiobook while you're driving. So I think there is something kind of sacred to reading an actual book, something satisfying. And again, I don't know if this is just me, but if I told someone I have a goal of reading blank books and I just did them on audio, I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't. I'd be like, I cheated. I'm sorry. I cheated. Did you listen to the book that we did for book club this year? Yeah, I listened to it in 35 minutes. It was trash. But I listened to it. I didn't read it. I don't think it counts. I don't think it absolutely. You are not reading, you are listening. If you want to say I listen to books, audiobooks, totally just fine. But if you want to say I read, you cannot say that. I couldn't live with myself. I'd come clean, and that'd be, you know what? It'd be in the middle of the night. It'd be at 3 a.m. I'd call the book club. I'd FaceTime them all. I'd be like, hey, ladies, I know that we all said we read the books, and I know you guys did because you guys are women of honor. But I'm here to tell you it's 4 a.m. I have audio, listen to all of them, and I can't live with myself. I couldn't. Audiobooks are not reading. Argue with your mama. Audiobooks are listening. Reading is a different thing. I had someone message me recently actually just right before I started this podcast. They're like, it absolutely counts. I get that you're digesting the same information. I just don't think I think reading is, reading is one thing. If I'm reading these notes, it's different than listening to me talking about them. It's not reading. Couldn't live with myself. But hey, maybe you can. Maybe you have no issues with it. I don't even know where I am on this thing. Audiobooks. It's such a funny topic because I don't even read. I don't read. People are like, my goal this year is to read 17 books. I was like, no, I don't. Not at all. So we hit this topic. What's funny though, is that I do enjoy reading when I do it. The times that I've done it, the very few times that I've done it, I'm like, I should do this more because I do enjoy it. Puts me to sleep. But then I never go back to it. So if you're listening to this on Thursday or if you're listening to this week, I'm so bummed out. I got to tell you this. I'm so bummed out because I missed probably one of the best sunsets. This happened on Tuesday. I missed one of the best sunsets of the entire year. And I already know it's going to be one of the best ones of the entire year. This was absolutely beautiful. So if you guys we're not friends on Instagram or anything, I rank sunsets. And I missed it. I was inside Sam's Club of all places. I went in there for tri-tip seasoning of all things. I was at Sam's Club and I just knew and I was walking in, I saw the clouds forming and I was like, if there's a sunset, I was like, this is going to be special. I was in Sam's Club. I walk out, I look on Instagram and a couple on Snapchat, and I have a couple messages of the sunset. It was absolutely stunning. It was beautiful. Well, first of all, thank you guys for sending those. And I'm going to tell you what I would have rated this sunset. And I'm a tough critic. Y'all be like, this is a 10, and it's like barely like a 6.4, 6.8. I would have given that one on Tuesday, I would have given it like an 8.8. Beautiful sunset, layered clouds, the little shadows in between. It was a beautiful sunset. So I'm pissed. I'm bummed that I missed it. But yeah, don't want to miss too many of those. That's going to be my New Year's resolution too. Don't miss sunsets. Let's get into our Wednesday wisdom conversation because I want to wrap this show up. It's already 1. Damn. Well, there goes my New Year's resolution with sleep. Okay, this was a great question, and I actually asked the boys about this earlier. Here we go. How's it doing? Oh, by the way, keep sending all those questions. You guys did a great job, and this segment is dependent on you guys sending in those questions. So here we go. Happy New Year's, Vic. Okay, help us settle a debate. Our best friend is in one of those quote-unquote situationships. My favorite. I don't care. It's her business, and she knows it, and she's totally okay with it. She doesn't want anything serious either, but I have mutual friends with him as well, and I saw him at a New Year's Eve party with another girl. When they were very friendly and definitely into each other. Do we need to tell her about this or leave it alone if she fully understands that it is not that serious? But part of me feels like I should. Half of my friends say yes, the other half say no. Help. Also, this is the big one for me. She was also spending New Year's with someone else. So she's in a full-on situationship where she says, you can do your thing, I'm going to do my thing. People can argue that feelings always get involved, and I don't necessarily think you're wrong. I think they do. But I think in a situation like this, her and her friends are debating, oh my gosh, should we tell Stacy? Stacy's not a name. Stacy's a generic name. Should we tell Stacy that Johnny, let's call him Stacy and Johnny, that Johnny was out at a New Year's Eve party with another girl? Should we tell her? And it's a tough situation because I instinctively, as a friend, you want to, you know what? I need to go tell her. But here's my thing. And again, I was debating this with the boys. Should she tell her? And I was thinking my answer for what I would do if let's just use Preet for an example. Let's say if Preet was dating someone and I saw that girl out with someone, cupcaking, whatever, I would tell them. I think I would tell my friends. In this situation, based on the facts that I have, she's fully aware of the situationship. She is fully aware that it is not anything serious. And she's also doing her little thing. I feel like I could make the argument that if you told her anything, she'd be like, well, I don't care. Why would you be telling me this? Why would you? It would almost like create a rift you're almost risking a rift in the relationship with her. She'd be like, bitch, I told you I don't care. Why would you tell me this? Let me flip the coin. There is a reality that eventually feelings do get involved in so many things. They do. They just do. And Preet brought up a good point about this, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. You give the information. Hey, we saw blank and blank and blank and blank. I don't give a damn what you do. I just want you to have the information. I want you that if at any point you decide to start taking this guy seriously, that you knew that he was doing this. But to me, it's also like, well, she was also doing that. So then what do? It seems to me, it seems like she's fully comfortable knowing that he's doing his thing and she's comfortable enough to be doing her own thing. And I think that's okay. I think we always assume that women are the ones who are going to be heartbroken and hurt and crying. Sometimes women are just okay with the situationship. Sometimes women are fully capable of just saying, like, you know what? Right now is not a good time for me to be in a relationship. I don't want a relationship. And I'm totally cool with little Johnny going off and doing his thing. So I think you got to know your friend. Is she pretending? And I would say she would be. She is. But she's also doing her own thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think you got to understand the type of friend you have and know if she's serious about not being serious about this. You know what I'm saying? You could totally leave it alone. But if you know that eventually she's just playing this game of like, well, I don't care. Eventually she's going to want to take this serious. And that's where you can have that conversation with her and be like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to give you the information. You make of it what you will. I just want you to have it. I'd rather you have it and not know than you just move forward assuming that nothing's going on. That's kind of it. Yeah. There's just, you know what makes a good question? A good question makes it when you can argue both sides. When you could say like, hey, I think that you should because blank, and you're right. I think that you shouldn't because blank, and you could also be right. So that's our Wednesday wisdom. Vic D has spoken. Know your friend. Know if she has a history of this and just pretending that feelings aren't going to get involved, or if they truly aren't going to get involved. First of all, you got yourself a G. And second of all, I think it's okay for women to just be like, you know what? I'm not looking for anything serious. Why is there this expectation that I always want something serious? He doesn't care. I don't care. We enjoy each other. We hang out. We hook up. We do whatever. We do our thing, but we kind of understand what it is. That is going to wrap up our New Year's show. I want to leave you with this. I want to wish you a very happy 2026. I want to wish you luck and success in happiness more than anything in anything that you're doing. Let's make it great. Let's really enjoy it. And I don't give a damn if you're in a good relationship, in a bad relationship, if you're just do what makes you happy. And if you feel like you're outgrowing where you are, whether that's a job, friendships, relationships, a house, look to improve. Don't be afraid to take that leap. Another year is going to pass whether you do things or not. So might as well take that chance. We'll keep a close contact over the next few weeks. And if you guys are going out to the Hard Rock, I'll see you out there. Check out our socials at ICYDK Pod. I'm at Vic T Radio. I love you guys so much. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Let's keep rocking and rolling. 2026 cannot be off to a better start, and I have so much to thank you for it. So you have a great night. Sleep good. Que sueñen con los angelitos. I love you. Say it back. Peace.